Hi, my name is Cathy, and I work with families who are concerned about their son or daughter's drug or alcohol use. So today what I wanted to share is 6 conversations to try to avoid when you're talking to your child about their drug or alcohol use. Sometimes we can find ourselves falling into traps with conversations that really go nowhere. So I wanted to share with you some ideas, and I think it just helps to be aware of where you can head with conversations and how they can be unproductive. So the first one is the information trap, and that's giving too much information or the same information over and over and over again. It is important to share with your child the risks of using drugs. Of course, that's important. For example, with marijuana, how it hurts the teenage brain or things along that line. But to say the same information over and over when you already know that they are aware of it is not so helpful. It really becomes white noise for them. The second one is the lecture trap, and that's when we're lecturing our children, talking at them rather than with them. And it's easy to fall into that when you're a parent and you're concerned and you're scared and you're worried for your child. But be aware that that's not so helpful, and the more you can talk with your child, kind of making it a team effort, the better. The next one is labeling. Labeling is not so helpful, not for parents and not for our kids. Parents don't like to be called enablers or codependents or names like that that just make you feel worse. I mean, there's already enough stigma and shame with drug use. You don't need to add more labels. And for our kids, sometimes parents feel like they need to label them an addict or an alcoholic. And studies have shown that just this isn't so helpful. What happens is that your child may be less interested in seeking treatment if they have to wear a certain label. So the less you do that, the better. If your child is in a 12-step group and has chosen to call themselves an addict or an alcoholic, that is their choice, and that's fine, but it's really not something that a parent should do. And also, what I have liked to know lately is seeing that people are calling themselves people in recovery or a person in long-term recovery, and it just seems so much more positive because we know our kids are so much more than their drug or alcohol situation. The next one is blaming your child or some other family member for the problem. When we get into blaming, it just brings up defensiveness and confrontation, and people have to take sides, and it's just not so helpful. It just makes everyone feel bad. So again, try to figure out ways to not get into blaming one person or another for the problem. And the fifth one is taking sides. And this is similar to blaming in that, if you have one side about the drug or alcohol use, your child, the only other side that your child can take is to protect their interests or to get defensive and feel that they have to defend a position that maybe they really aren't even that interested in. So it's really helpful to try to not take sides when you're talking with your child, to try to figure out other ways to talk about the problem and to make it, again, a joint problem, a team effort, something maybe you can solve together. And finally, the sixth one is the question and answer trap. And what the idea is behind this is that you want to ask your child open-ended questions. When you ask your child questions that start with, that end with yes or no, that can be answered with yes or no, it ends the conversation. There's not really any place that it can go. So it's really helpful to try to ask questions that are conversation starters. So for example, if you ask what, use the words what or how. How was your day today? What did you do at school today? How did work go? Or something along those, or how was your evening last night? Those kind of questions, as opposed to, did you drink last night? Or did you use drugs last night? It's more accusatory, and it, again, kind of backs your child into the corner. So again, these are some just thoughts on, the idea behind all of this is the more positive your relationship is with your child, the better the chances are that your child's going to listen to you and be interested in changing. And again, it's a process. There's going to be steps going forward and steps going back. But the more you can keep things positive and be the positive role model in your family, the better for everyone involved. So I hope you found these helpful. Let me know in the comments what works for you, what are conversation starters or stoppers that you have found and what you found worked for your child. I mean, again, every situation is different, and there might be some things that you feel have really worked for your situation, and I'd love to hear those. So take care, all the best, and know there's hope for your child.